chills.
Real scary.
Real silly. Real stories.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Chills to Hell Week. We're so excited.
Heck yeah.
This is amazing. We've been looking forward to this all season long because we love spooky season. And today is our first event, and we're doing a kickoff with our friend Harley from the Cryptid Bartender. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the Cryptid Bartender is a Facebook page, mostly an Instagram account that you run, that you do cocktails inspired by different cryptids and lore. And we're really excited to have you here.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me on here too.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So tell us what we're going to be making today.
All right, so today's cocktail is a new one that I created specifically to be released for this one, so we can keep it kind of new and exciting. Try to do something a little spooky, and this one is La Llorona, and it's basically based off of the legend of this woman. There's slightly different variances here and there, but she essentially, the main version, I guess, is that she caught her husband cheating on her, and in her rage, drowned her two children. And then she was just so ridden with anger and guilt that she killed herself in the process. And then she was left, her soul was left to wander around looking for the souls of her children before she could get accepted into the afterlife. So she's still looking around for the souls of her children, hoping to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this particular cocktail, I try to keep it sort of Latin American inspired because that's where the legend comes from. And it's kind of a mix of a Bloody Maria because apparently her name was Maria as well. So I thought that kind of fit perfectly. Right.
Nice.
And a Michelada. So it's kind of a combination of them both, but I think it works together pretty well.
I'm so excited because I don't know if you knew this. I knew Meg and I talked about it. I'm a big fan of micheladas. They're one of my favorite things to drink. And I love any kind of bloody cocktail. So I'm so for this. I'm very excited.
And I'm
awesome. That's perfect then.
Because I don't do spicy. So we're going to see if I can. I'm trying it and I'm excited about it, but I'm also scared I'm going to be a big baby.
I'm the same way, to be honest. I have to keep things kind of mild for when I do them and hope they taste good. And I just kind of like to leave the spicy sort of subject to change based on the individual. So hopefully this works out.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, tell us what we need. I know we gathered everything, but we'll kind of go through. We'll follow your lead.
All right. So how big is your glass? Let's start with that. How big is your glass?
Is this okay? Is this not big enough?
That'll be fine. I was like a pint glass?
Yeah, pint glass.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be okay. All right. So you have your pint glass. And what you're going to want to do you have your little dish for rimming?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take Chamoy Sauce and kind of just ring it around in your glass and sort of rim the edge of the glass with it.
Huh. Nice.
The next part's going to be a little bit messy, just so you're aware.
Fun. I like when things get
I'm for it.
I was going to say, the messier the food, the better, if you ask me. But
so when you say, you're pouring, this is a dumb question, but you're pouring the chamoy sauce into the plate, right?
Yes. You're just going to put right in the plate. So you can take your plate and your glass and just rim the edge of the glass right in the sauce.
Awesome. It looks so cool. It looks like blood. I'm so bad at it.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time I tried chamoy sauce as well. So when I got it, I was pleasantly surprised that it looked so bloody.
Yeah.
From those happy little accidents, you know?
We had to go on a little hunt together to look for the ingredients, and we went to an international foods market near me. And Meg has the bottle. It's huge because I had to get we split it because we were like, there's no way both of us are going to need all of this.
Right. Thankfully, it's cheap. Yeah, because same. I had the bottle. The only size I could find other than a full gallon was this big.
Yeah. I've had it on tacos and stuff as a dressing almost on tacos.
Mm-hmm. All right. So once it's rimmed, you are going to take your Michelada seasoning and just sprinkle. Yep. That works perfect. Yeah, you're just going to sprinkle it all around on the glass, get it all up in that sauce so it sticks real good.
Ugh.
Okay.
Nice. I'm so excited.
So
yeah, this is the good messy part.
Yeah, it looks so pretty. My brother-in-law is Mexican, so obviously when I found out this was the drink, I immediately messaged him. And he actually suggested, like, if this drink is too spicy for me, which I didn't get it, but it's a good idea. He was like, just add like horchata to it. He's like, that's what people do in Mexico when things are spicy.
Yeah, you can try that.
And he made the joke. He was like, it's like horchata, and I was like, all right, get out of here, go away.
I actually have a good friend of mine who's Mexican, and he's a chef as well. So when I told him when I was making this, he got all excited, and he's like, well, what if you did this? He's also horrible and suggested I added gummy bears to represent the drowned children at the bottom of the drink. But he was giving me good suggestions as well. So.
I do kind of love it, but also, yeah.
I know, yes. But yeah, so he was helping me, but then he also had to throw that in.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was so excited. He's like, all of that sounds so delicious. Like, that's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm very pumped.
Dang.
I'm like interested to see how spicy the one part gets, but yeah. Yeah, this looks awesome. I should have made mine bloodier so it was like dripping down the cup, but this looks awesome.
I already feel
that's
like
perfect. That's perfect.
Professional bartender. I did it.
All right, so go ahead and grab your shaker and make sure it's all full of ice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All set?
All good? All right, so we're going to add in 1.5 ounces of your jalapeno infused tequila.
Yeah.
An ounce is like one shot, right?
How big is your jigger? Because they come in different sizes. I would just go with the big size if you aren't sure.
Okay.
That one looks kind of big to me, so that one should be fine.
YOLO.
This one's 1.5 ounces is mine.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So I grew the jalapenos that Meg and I are using in my garden.
Oh, nice.
And
perfect.
I'm very excited because I didn't know if they were going to be spicy ones because like different parts of the season, just like they just taste different.
Yeah.
The last ones I ate were like bell peppers. They weren't spicy at all, but Meg says these ones are hot.
Yeah, Alyssa's like, oh, you're probably getting a bell pepper. So as I was cutting this for infusion, I was like, I should face my fears and eat a little tiny one right now. And then I couldn't feel my mouth for like, I was like, all right.
Gosh.
Yeah, those aren't any bell peppers I've ever had before.
When I was first making this recipe, I almost forgot to actually infuse the tequila. So I'm talking about like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, wait, might help if I actually infuse the tequila with the jalapeno. Yeah. And so I like right before bed, like moments before I went to bed, like chopped them up, stuck them in there. And the next morning I'm like, gosh, I hope that it's actually like quick enough. And I grabbed it and I spilled a little bit on my arm and I smelled the jalapeno so strong. I'm like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah. For sure.
I would have liked to
right.
keep time longer, but yeah, I'm very excited. This is actually perfect because it'll be very drinkable.
Awesome. All right. So now just a little splash of the tamarind nectar. Just like a little push amount.
Do you what?
A bush is an actual metric unit or unit of measurement, just so you know.
We found these tiny containers.
That's perfect. That's what I use. That's perfect. All right, and so now we're going to add, I'm going to say about 2.5 ounces of your Clamato, just kind of judging based on the size of your glass. This one's a little subject to change just based on what you can fit in there.
I'll just do 2 then, just to be safe.
Yeah, about 2.5, I think, I'm going to put in.
All right. And what I did was I took my plate that had the chamoy on it and I just kind of scraped some of it like into like, cause you just want a little bit in there. Just go ahead and like scrape off what you have left right into your glass. So it doesn't go to waste. You just need a tiny bit. And if you want your spicy than what you think the jalapenos might do, then you can also add in your Tabasco or leave it out if you don't want it spicy.
I'm going to do a little bit because I want to be brave.
Yeah, I also feel like when in Rome, let's do it.
Right.
Also, Dan also loves these types of drinks, so worst case scenario, I'm making him something wonderful. Okay.
They'll also get a little bit of the seasoning, potentially like in your drink too, so that'll help kind of boost the flavor, a little bit of the Clamato in there.
Mm.
All right, and go ahead and add a splash of your lime juice when you're done with that. No more than like a half an ounce.
Can I drop the rest of my lime in?
Yeah.
All right. What do you say, Ben?
I'm just making such a mess. I'm like using my hand to like scrape the chamoy.
Bartending is a messy job. There's a reason why there's like mats everywhere. Like I used to teach it professionally as well, and it was always a mess.
Yeah, you gotta be okay with getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We actually had a not necessarily a rule, but a very heavily pushed guideline that you wear dark clothing because we would dye the waters to simulate the liquor. And yeah, I mean, it gets everywhere. So don't wear anything don't wear anything that you aren't willing to possibly ruin, basically.
Yeah. That's why I mostly wear dark clothes the whole time in my life, because everything I have has coffee on it.
Yeah.
Same.
Tie-dye is really good for that too, actually.
Yeah, it blends it.
That's a good idea.
All right, so we got everything all in our shakers then, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and put the cap on, make sure it's on there good. All right, so I don't know how much experience any of you like have actually using a shaker. Just make sure you give it a decent tap, because otherwise you're going to start, because you have to kind of flip it over, you're going to start shaking it, you're going to get a face full of it. So I've seen many of that in my life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just about 8 or 9 times, because they're thicker ingredients. You want to incorporate them all together real good. There we go. All right, so when you're done, go ahead and give a little tap, kind of release it. Get on the side, tap on the side. And that'll help release the suction.
Oh my God. I'm learning so much. I make drinks all the time, and
you give it a good little spank, like right here.
Yeah.
Right there with that part again. Just kind of whack it in there, and that'll pop it out and makes your life so much easier.
I can't believe how well that actually worked.
This smells amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
All right. Go ahead and dump that all right into your cup. We're not going to strain this one.
Dude. It's
Yeah.
so good. I feel like I should have known that, but I was not ready.
All right, and then you're just gonna top it with whatever Mexican beer you picked out.
Nice. We had a hard time finding ale that was
really
like a Mexican ale, because I think everything we would grab was like a lager. So we found a Mexican pale ale with citrus and spice.
Whatever works. Yeah, you can use you can use pretty much any Mexican beer as long as it's more on the lighter side. That'll give the same kind of vibe.
Like a Modelo or.
Yeah, you can use Dos Equis, you can use Modelo, anything like that, whatever you can. See, I live like 2 hours away from Mexico, so everything's pretty easy to find out here.
Yeah.
All right, and so when you're done topping that off, go ahead and just garnish with whatever Mexican candies that you picked out.
We had a hard time choosing. We picked a variety pack. I'm going to use the chili catcher, which is this popsicle.
Awesome.
Or lollipop, you know what I mean.
All right, and then when you're done, you can go ahead and take a sip of it.
I'm going to use a straw. Ugh. Are you ready, Meg? Can we do a cheers?
Yeah. I'm trying to garnish, but I'm just going to hold my little candy.
Give it a stir with it. Cheers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Harley, this is amazing.
This is really good.
I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The chamoy sauce is so good.
Wow.
I love the spice and the sauce in the end.
I like the rim stuff. Yeah, like the seasoning.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought it was a decent balance of just a little bit sweet, not overly sweet, just a little bit of sweet, and then overall savory and spicy.
You want to try?
Yeah, I love this. Now, for some people, if they're opposed to clam, the clam isn't that important. If they just wanted tomato juice, would you say?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked about if we needed to make this a vegan version, what would that look like?
Yeah, you can just use tomato juice. I would just add more seasonings. If you use tomato juice, I would add maybe a bit of garlic powder, some extra, whatever you used in your rim, maybe even a dash of salt, just because otherwise your Clamato has a lot of seasonings already in it. depending on which one you choose. So then you're kind of taking that away from your drink. So yeah, I would just add some extra seasonings if you're just using tomato juice, and that'll help balance that.
That's a hot pro tip.
Yeah.
I also think the beer, because I'm not gonna lie, I was very afraid of this drink. The beer really like evens it out so that it's not just all spice. It's nice.
Yeah,
tequila,
it does. It really helps mellow it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to drink this and then I'm going to be like, why do I feel so fun? And I'm going to forget about all of the tequilas in here and be like, I just had a little bit of beer. Like,
that's not a deal.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited. Well, thank you so much for sharing this drink with us and for like bringing it to our event. We have Hell Week events going on all week. We're going to pop a calendar up now of all the events so you can check out the other things. We know that you also have some stories, or at least a story for us that you're going to share. So we'd love to hear any spooky tales you have.
Mm-hmm. I've had a few different paranormal experiences in my time, to be honest. I'll stick with the more spooky ones instead, since this is a spookier themed podcast. I guess I can start with my very first one because that one's probably the most profound. I was a fairly big skeptic on ghosts before this moment. And I still don't know if I want to say it was a ghost because it could have been something else. I'm just kind of generally open to it could be whatever. I don't know. But when I was 13, I was staying up in Northern California, helping my family move my great grandfather from his cabin to a nursing home. And it was late at night. I mean, this is in the middle of the woods, literally a cabin he built himself years ago, on several acres of land, hardly any neighbors. Okay. Middle of nowhere, Bigfoot area, California.
Ooh,
and, yes, he was a big fan of Bigfoot too. And I was just outside goofing off. I was like 13 at the time. I'm just playing outside. There's bats flying by and I'm watching the bats and just kind of doing whatever, And I looked out in the front yard and I saw this man approaching the property, which, it's, 9:00 at night. Who the hell, there's hardly any neighbors. Who the hell will be approaching a property? It's mountains. It's not like this was a busy road or anything, and it was just truckers everywhere. So I'm watching him and I'm just like, okay, it's kind of weird. And he starts approaching the gate and he just straight up walked through the gate, through the shut gate.
Nope.
And I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be an explanation. I'm like, sprinklers are on. It's lighting playing a trick or something. Like, I'm trying to actively debunk what I am currently watching. I was like walking around trying to change my location. Like, okay, what could be causing this? Is it my glasses blaring? What's going on? And he just kept slowly walking down the street, just walking right through stuff. And at that point, I just panicked. I just dropped everything I had in my hand and just took off from the house freaking out because I'd never seen anything like that before.
Did you tell your family or did you keep it a secret?
No, I did tell my parents, yes. And they were, I was not one to make up stuff like that, so they were like, what the hell? Like, my stepdad was typically more open to those kind of things too. He and I actually used to watch a lot of Ghost Hunters and all that growing up. Like that was our thing. We always watched those shows together. So he was more open to that, and he was like, "What the hell?" So yeah, that was definitely the most profound. I've had a couple others that were more. Actually, including my stepdad. There was one where we had two computers in the room. I was on one, he was on the other. And we both heard this loud sound, like this weird clicking sound behind us. And we look over and there was this fan, like one of the ones that you just put in the window. And we saw what looked like this, like, it was like a smoke, but it wasn't like it was smoking like it was on fire. It was like a skin, like moving along us. We both looked at each other and said, did you see that? And right then it turned on full blast on its own.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. At that point, I was like 17 years old, I think.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so I've had a few.
Wow.
For the first one, do you remember how the person was like dressed? Were you able to see what they're
surprisingly casual? That was what was so odd, is that he looked actually relatively modern. It was like basic, yeah. It didn't look like it was some kind of time period piece or anything. He just looked like a regular neighbor that would have just been walking over.
No thanks. The
Yeah.
mountain-
Right? So that's one of the things that made it so weird because it's like, how do you explain this? Was it like a neighbor that died or something?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Yeah.
I've been
So
reading a lot lately on like Reddit mostly about people who see projections or doppelgangers and how like a person's like will or desire to be doing something else can like help project them, or like a version of themselves like appears before they actually appear. So that's super interesting. That's a new theory that I'm pretty like interested in learning about, because it's like, especially if it seems pretty contemporary and like they're just minding their own business, like not acknowledging, they're just doing their own thing. Like, interesting.
Are you talking about like astral projection right now?
Yeah, basically. Or like just when people like, when they're like, oh, I talked to my like boyfriend, they were in the house, like, and then like he wasn't there, and then he came like in the parking lot, like he just showed up like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
That kind of the story, yeah. Where it's like hard to tell if it's astral projection or if it's like just like a version of themselves that is just like unintentionally being projected, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so interesting though.
That's actually a topic that people have been requesting I make a cocktail based off of too. So that'll probably be in the nearish future.
Nice. Nice. Like doppelgangers or astral projection? Nice.
Yes, doppelgangers, yeah.
The other one that you talked about though, the other thing I thought, because I'm always like always like, how do we problem solve? We're gonna skeptically like bust this ghost situation. I was like, oh, you're the poltergeist. Like when you're like, I was 17, I was like, there's a 50% chance that might have just been you. The teenager.
I've also had experience with potential ghost animal one point actually. Yeah, it was the same house as the one with the window fan, around only a few months apart too, I believe. And I was in my bedroom. Now I had a lot of pets and I was used to them being in my room, and I'm just on my bed reading or something, and I felt my mattress like sink in, like something sat down next to me, you know? And so I didn't really look. I just kind of habitually reached out to pet it, and nothing's there. And I'm like, okay. And I can see the dents. I'm like, all right. And then it just got back up. So I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird, but I didn't say anything. 5 minutes later, my mom comes to me and just says, I just dug up a dead dog in the backyard.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
And you saw like a slight indentation where like you
yes,
could see like it was there. That's wild.
That's so
okay.
wild.
We did not plan to talk about this. Like we were going to talk about it today. I have to say this, Meg. I told Meg the other day. So we had to put our old dog to sleep a couple months ago, and you know, you always hear the stories of animal spirits like coming back, and like as much as I want that to happen, I'm pretty skeptical. Like 2 or 3 experiences now where basically a similar thing has happened, where I've been laying in bed, I'm like falling asleep or I'm doing something else, and I feel like an animal body on the bed. And we have a large cat, we have another small dog. So I'll roll over to look, and it's not there. And then the other night it happened again, but I like, in addition to like feeling something like press like into the bed, I also heard like paws on the side of the bed, like trying to get up, because I thought it was the cat trying to get up. And I look, nothing's there. I roll over again, and I like feel something in the bed, and then I hear like, I have a nightstand with a lamp that has like a pen cup attached to it. And I heard like something brush, like physically make contact of friction, like brush against something on the nightstand. And then the pens moved, which like, yeah. And I was just kind of like, you're either the spirit of my dog, RIP, love you, or you're a trickster trying to trick me into thinking like you're my dog, which is rude. Don't do that.
I was gonna say, that's just a dick move there. Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, either way, we're not talking right now. We're not talking about this. Because like, but it is nice to think about animal spirits, because I think that's lovely how your mom found this dog and then the dog spirit was able to like be acknowledged in other ways. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I grew up a pretty hard skeptic, you know, and I wasn't like, you know, it's not to say that they weren't seeing something. It was just like, I don't know if ghosts really make sense to me. I don't know what I exactly believe. And I'm still kind of just on that fence of like, it could be, it might not be. I just don't know. So I'm open to whatever. But then after the dog, I don't know. I'm actually kind of wondering if it had to do, here's another one. In that same house. So my parents, for a living, they would go to garage sales and estate sales, buy things, resell it. Okay. That's what they did for money. And there was a table they bought. That was this amazing table. It was a very beautiful vintage table. And I'd sit at it sometimes. Every time I sat on it, I would get this horrible chill on my spine. Like almost like really cold, almost like making me gag, like really bad. It chilled on my spine. And I didn't say anything about it. I just thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, okay. And it turned out someone died of a heart attack on that table right before they sold it. So I'm like, is that what's going on? Is it that table that's just making all this weird crap happen in this property now or what? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just very like, I have no idea anything. We just don't know. We don't know enough to say yes or no on whatever. And I've seen enough, like something is going on for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at least we can't explain whatever this is. Like we can't be 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those are awesome stories. Definitely just like make you think. And it's just interesting to hear like, sometimes it's hard to share those types of things just randomly when you're just like, oh, I'm going to tell you by the time that like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing those. Those are like really interesting. And
those are
do you mind if I ask, do your parents still live at that house?
They don't. This is back in California. So
okay.
It's been years since we lived there.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I feel like that's sometimes like nice too, because I definitely feel like when you can go back to the place where you're like, all this stuff happened here when I was younger, and then you like look for it too hard, and then it's like it's extra like, extra tricky if you're like being objective as much as you can be. So that's really great though.
I also think like as long as they do yard sale pickings, there's gonna be some haunting stuff. Like even if it's not ghost, like energy really can attach to stuff sometimes. So like even the table, it could have just been the negative impact of that situation just kind of attaching.
Yeah. And I some of the houses I've seen definitely very full of that kind of negative energy. Like I've seen some crazy things going to, like half the houses in Sacramento, but so that's exactly it. It could even just be the manifestation of the energy or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What I really want to know is what got you into cryptid bartending?
All right. So I was just always really into the paranormal, like really early on, really into conspiracy theories, aliens, cryptids, like everything for most of my life, honestly. And that just kind of never really went away. I used to kind of say that I was like a mini Fox Mulder in a lot of ways, to be honest. And my brothers, like, you remember Dib from Invader Zim?
Oh yeah,
But that's what my brothers would call me. They called me Dib. That was their name, right? So that was just always a thing. And I started getting into bartending because I wanted to finally get back into the workforce. I have two kids. I'm like, okay, I need a career. And I felt like it would just be a really good fit because I have a lot of experience with food and just making recipes and all. And I was thinking, how can I give myself an edge in the competitive job market? How can I stand out and show this is something I'm serious about and not start at the very bottom as like a cocktail server or something? How can I get a better placement? And so I'm like, okay, I can make my own recipes easily. That's just a good sign of a bartender is someone who actually wants to make their own recipes so they can share it with those who are like, let me get something from you specifically. Okay. I was already kind of toying with that idea. And of all things, a good friend of mine sent me a photo of a shirt. It was like this woman's bowler shirt covered in cryptids. And she said to me, you need to make the cryptid bartender a thing. And I'm like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Things started kind of like, computing. I'm like, what if I did this? And I started off making drinks. My very first two were Spring Hill Jack and El Chupacabra. And
I love those. Those
actually like, they actually took off pretty well. People were like, hey, wait a minute. And it actually started gaining traction. And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep rolling with this. And it actually helped me get a job in professionally teaching it at our local bartending school and everything. It got me a job really quick because it was just a sign that I was that into it, and I still am. So I just combined all of my like passions and loves and hobbies, what I was doing, into one big thing.
And you're doing great. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to like toot your own horn, but I'll do it for you because I've been following your page for a long time. I have no idea how I found it. I don't know. It was the supernatural world bringing us together maybe, but I don't know. Every single drink you do is like, so not only does it look like it would taste good, like all the flavors are there, but they look so cool.
I appreciate that. I used to do a lot of food art. I used to do like cake decorating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From home, like semi-professionally. So I kind of put all that into that too.
Yeah.
Look good.
You can definitely tell they're pretty. Like when you see them, you're like, I want that. I want whatever that is.
Well, that's also the appeal, like when you go to a bar, you want a drink that's just not just good, but it's visually appealing. You want it to be something unique. You like coming across those bartenders that are like, hey, what's something I can only get from you at this bar, nowhere else? And you want to see them whip it out and be like, yeah, right away. And they've surprised you with something. You want to see, hey, what's your version of a Bloody Mary? And have them already be prepared, So that's something I try to push a lot. And what I would also push into my lessons with my students when I was teaching is like, that is how you stand out. And that's how you're going to do better in this very competitive job market.
Right.
Yeah. One thing, so I worked in restaurants and I was a bartender for a while, and I love when a beverage has a story, a food or a beverage, right? And that's one of the things that I love. Like your beverages are also such a great vehicle for like talking about folklore and like the inspiration, like it's a jumping off point, but it's like such a fun connection point. Like not only because it's stuff that I love like talking about and learning about, but it's just really interesting to see how you can translate like those interests into the craft and like still have this product that's just like on its own. If you called it anything else, I would still be like, that sounds amazing. Let's do that.
I drink it. Yeah.
Food art is still art as far as I'm concerned, and art is a good medium for transferring information and stories. So I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're great. This is delicious. I'm still really enjoying my drink.
It's a sipper one.
Yeah. I'm trying to like not give it away because I want to take a picture afterwards. Yeah, I want to get a picture with it. Yeah.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. I've been chugging mine sauce. But
no, it's okay. I'm gonna make another one probably, honestly. more Tabasco for me. Mine could be spicier.
Ooh, look at you. Mm-hmm. I'm good.
That's how I am. I keep it enough to where I can kind of taste it, but anymore and I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah. This was awesome. Is there anything else that you wanted to plug,
or anything you want to share? Any like advice, favorite like cocktail that you're interested in right now, or anything?
Well, I will say I've been on a hiatus for a little bit, but I'm trying real hard to get back into it as much as I can. So this right here is an excellent push in that direction for sure. So thank you for that. And I do plan on having new cocktails coming out every week again after a while. I'm thinking maybe after I get to 10,000 followers on Facebook, I might start a Kickstarter for an actual physical recipe book because I've been getting a lot of demand for that. So
yes,
you can hold on tight and see where that goes, I guess. But otherwise, just follow me on Facebook under the Cryptid Bartender. I'm also on Instagram, mostly active on Facebook though. So if you have Facebook, I suggest that's where you guys go. I'm working on a YouTube channel as well, where I can actually do the tutorials themselves physically.
Mm-hmm. Nice. You're always welcome back to come hang with us at any point. So we would love to see you again.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for bringing like one of your new cocktails with us. We were so grateful when you were like, I'm going to bring something new. We were like, oh, that's even like, we were just really excited. So this is really great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. I thank you again for having me on here. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. We'll see you soon.
All right.